just sprayed everywhere. Welcome to Nitty. My name is Mizan, and today I want to talk about something that can go wrong for anyone that owns a BMW. I own a BMW M135i, as you guys know, and I do not have a temperature gauge on my car whatsoever, none at all. No 1 Series comes with a temperature gauge apart from the M140i in the LCI2. Same applies for 2 Series and the M240i. You've got to have an LCI2 M240i to have that temperature gauge, and the M2 obviously comes with it as standard. Older BMWs such as the E90 for example, and other BMWs from that generation, they also don't have a temperature gauge, so this is for you guys as well. Now bear in mind, we don't have a temperature gauge, yeah? This is the main focal part of this video. It was a bank holiday Monday in May. It was a very hot day. It was about 25 degrees Celsius. And I was driving along. My passenger at the time noticed there was a bit of smoke coming out my kidney grill. As I was driving, because I was 2 minutes away from my destination, I went through the hidden menu, which is very long-winded, checked the temperature, and it said 140 degrees. That's 20 degrees over what my car should be running at, which is 120 degrees Celsius. So I knew something wasn't right. So I got to my destination. Luckily, I found a spot to park in. I opened my bonnet and I see this fluid all over my engine bay. I traced the issue to be linked to my coolant, and this was the fluid that sprayed all over my car, and that's the reason why my car was overheating. So first thing I did was I called Nick from PVR. Even though it was a bank holiday Monday, I called him because I have his personal number. He picked up and he told me not to drive it, let the car cool down and have it recovered if possible. Luckily, I was only about 20 minutes from home. So what I did was I left the car there and I got a cab back to my house. On the cab ride home, I called up a company called Angel Recovery. They're a local company that do recovery, obviously. I got them to recover my car back from where I was to my house, and they charged a very, very competitive price. Something that I genuinely couldn't even argue with, because there was a part of me that thought, I'm not too far from home, you know, should I just drive it home in the night when there's no traffic and it will be cooler and the car could just make it back with no coolant? But the price that they gave me was so competitive, I just thought to myself, the risk of doing something worse to the engine compared to paying that fee, I just paid them, you know, I went with it. So yeah, that was a very pleasant experience dealing with them. I'm very thankful for them to helping me out. In regards to getting my car fixed, I couldn't go to PVR even if I wanted to, because as you guys know, I live quite far from them. I can't get there with no coolant. It's as simple as that. So I messaged Ibrahim, who owns a 335i with the same engine, the N55 lump. I've done a video with him on the channel as well, and I spoke to him. Because he's a trader, he's very hands-on and he knows his stuff about cars. He took the part number of the hose that snapped and he found it in stock at a BMW main dealer. He went and picked it out for me. He told me which coolant is best for my car, so we went for very OEM grade level stuff. I went to Halfords and I bought that, and he came the following day at night, placed the hose, and then we topped up the coolant, and we obviously, what's the word, fucking hell, we topped up the coolant, and obviously we let it go through, pass through the car essentially. After that, I went for a drive, checked the min max level, and it was all fine. The reason why I've done this video is because that happened to me. It could have been a lot more worse if I didn't realize, or no, wrong, if my passenger wasn't with me and they didn't realize, I could have carried on driving and I could have done damage to my car, all because I don't have a temperature gauge. Literally, that's it. The car didn't give me no warnings, no error message as that happened. It was literally the luck that that person realized, and I was then able to pull over, check and see what happened. And that's the scary part. What really bugs me is this: why haven't our cars got temperature gauges, especially when I'm driving an M performance car, the M135i? It's so simple. I mean, BMW's come with this stupid MPG little thing on our gauges, right? MPG, who cares about that? No other manufacturer does that, yet BMW do it. And all they had to do was give us a digital oil temperature gauge right there. That's all they had to do, and they didn't do that for us. So what I decided then was, I'm gonna get a gauge for my OBD2 port that I could then monitor certain things like the oil temperature. So it turns out that none of these OBD2 gauges can monitor oil temperature. The only thing they can monitor is coolant temperature. Ideally, you want oil temperature, because oil temperature tells you what temperature the engine's running at, and also you know that when you start driving spiritedly, that your car is warm. You know, you're not thrashing a cold car. Coolant can get warm very quickly. It's not a true reflection of what the car is running at, what temperature, but that's better than having no gauge. So I went for it. I ordered a gauge off Amazon. It was about £35, and it was honestly rubbish. rubbish, because it just kept beeping every time you switch it on, every time you switch it off. It looks ugly on the dash. This one did have oil temperature capability, so they claim, and it was completely off. You know, my car was saying 117 degrees and the gauge was saying 160 plus or something. The coolant was very, very accurate, and that's why I kept it. But I gave up on it when it was a very sunny day and I couldn't read the gauge, and I was like, what's the point? If I'm driving along and I can't read it, there's no point. So I took it off and I returned it back to Amazon. I've now ordered a heads-up display, and that will obviously work in bright sunny conditions because that's what it's designed for. And I'm not going to be using it for the speed. I'm not going to be looking at my miles per hour or anything like that. I'm going to move it straight over to coolant temperature and I can monitor that. So the best thing that I recommend for you guys is, if you've not got a temperature gauge, please go and buy one off Amazon or eBay, and just make sure you guys know what your car is running at, because the car didn't give me no errors. If it wasn't for my passenger, could have done some serious damage to my car, and who would have paid for that? Personally, I think the long-term solution is BMW need to do a recall on these cars. I mean, all they have to do is add it by software. That's all they have to do. I think it's unacceptable that these cars don't come with it. It's something so basic. I'm very angry at BMW for that. Very, very angry.
I want to mention the P3 gauge is the best option out there and does everything you'd want, as well as look neat and tidy, but it has some drawbacks. Firstly, it costs around £400 and it takes up half an air vent. There's no need for something like this to cost so much, if you ask me.
And yeah, I just want to give a massive shout out to Angel Recovery for recovering my car, Ibrahim as well for helping me out, and that's it. Make sure you guys keep your wits about yourself and monitor your car's temperature whilst you drive, especially if you're pushing on or if it's a hot day. Chances are your car's not going to tell you when things are going wrong. If you've liked this video, make sure you like, share and subscribe, and stay tuned for some other reviews that we're going to do soon. Take care.